What's up, everybody? Welcome to CFP Talks. In today's episode, we talk about a really critical topic. Is I did awesome on the CFP mock. I crushed it. I was getting 80s and 90s, and I was killing it, and I felt so good. And then I walked into the exam, and I got slapped in the face. Nothing was the same. I feel like I got set up. I feel like I got the rug pulled out from underneath me. Today, Raman and I break this down. We talk about some of the conversations that we've had with students, some of the things that we use in our own class in regards to the CFP mock, and how you can use it to help you succeed on your next CFP attempt. As always, guys, we have some special offers for you. So, the Q Bank that we use in our class, we are offering a 7-day free trial. Just click on that link right underneath in the description box. And if you'd like to chat with Raman or myself and do a free assessment where we can discuss how we can help you pass the CFP exam on your next attempt, feel free to use that exam assessment link right in the description box below. And we will see you guys on this episode. We hope you love it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to CFP Talks. My name is Joe Nissim, and with me is my bald, flowery brother, Mr. Raman Singh.
Shout out to Express. Shout out to Express.
Raman is leaving this podcast taping, and he's going clubbing all night in Ibiza. Just getting it all the time.
Do you know there's damn, I forget this guy's name. He's a DJ, plays EDM, and he does it for children. So next thing you know, like there's like
I'm sorry, what?
yeah, for children. Like literally, so this is a like do you'll see videos of, obviously now I get Facebook to show me those videos or Instagram to show me those videos. I mean, you'll see like a rave going on where parents are holding their children, and then this guy's just kind of like jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all. Like it's just insane. Like this guy's like EDM based, like children's songs, man. And dude, tickets cost $100 per person.
It just goes to show, solve a problem.
Yeah,
You can
so I
charge
mean,
whatever you
like
want.
millennial parents are crazy, man. Like they'll do anything to go to a concert,
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, you cannot stop a millennial from traveling or doing stuff.
Right. Hey, absolutely. You're talking to a millennial parent who's got a 6-month-old son, and we're traveling across the country.
Well, it's funny because, like, I was chatting with a buddy of mine about this, and we were chatting about our parents and grandparents getting on planes. My grandparents, not once ever were on a plane. Not once. Not one time did my grandparents on either side ever step foot in a plane.
Wow.
My parents stepped foot in a plane in their 20s, and I was on a plane at, two or three or something
Yeah.
like that, where my mom was like, "We're going to Egypt and you're going, and I'm taking the three of you back." And I think that's why I never ever, like, I don't even think twice about flying, where like I know people that like go crazy, but I'm like, these millennials are like, we've really pushed this envelope where some of our parents never, they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, going out to dinner was such a big deal. We got
Yeah.
to get a sitter. We got to trust somebody. We got to pay him. We got to be home. I got to go to a payphone to check in with the sitter.
Yeah. No, I guess I'll definitely call this a blessing, where dude, Luke is 6 months, and we flew to San Francisco when he was 4 months old, and we've been on the road for the last like 2 weeks. And now, granted, we're
Incredible.
driving. I mean, we've put about 4,700 miles so far on the road, and now we're
Jeez.
heading back to Arizona. So that's going to be about another. I know it's 15 hours, so whatever it takes him to drive, like 16 hours or whatever miles that is.
So
So
you're gonna wrap it up at about 6,000 ish.
6,000 miles, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
We're,
that's a long road trip.
yeah, we're ready to go back home. Even my wife is like, she's like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I want my cozy bed, no more Airbnbs.
Yeah, we drove to Yellowstone last year for Memorial Day weekend from
Mm.
LA, and the ride there was awesome. It
Yeah,
was great, and we did it pretty like I planned it out where we left LA at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
So we were through Vegas traffic, Memorial Day weekend, Vegas is going to be
Oh,
nuts. So
sure.
like
Yeah.
we wanted to be through Vegas by the morning, and we got through, and we actually ended up hitting like crazy traffic in Salt Lake City.
Mm.
And then we got there, and then when we got there and we were coming back, and we spent a night in Park City, Utah, and I was like, I really just want to give this car back and fly home.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm good. That's it. We've driven enough. Like,
Yeah.
so at 6,000 miles is a lot because we drove. I think it was 1,000 there and 1,000 back,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was done. Like,
It's
I was like, I'm done.
yeah,
I'm
my
good.
my back's hurting right now, I'll say that.
It's just like you get out of the restaurant and your just body's moving so slow. You're like,
Yeah.
"Argh." Like my body's in ice.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding, man. Yeah, it's we're ready. We're ready. We just got home stretch. We'll be back home in 2 days, so
That's
excited about
great.
that.
Well, that's good. It like makes you appreciate home.
Yes, absolutely. It makes you appreciate home a lot. It's kind of like, man, like, yeah, I do enjoy where I live.
Well, let's talk about something interesting that I've really come across a lot as we are preparing for the November exam, which is I feel like I've heard this in almost every conversation that I've had with students, which is I took the CFP free mock and I murdered it. Like I was getting 70s, 80s, and I thought I was really ready. You know, what the heck, CFP board? Bleep, 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 bleep. I thought that the exam was going to be like this mock exam. I get to the exam and it is completely different.
Yeah,
So I kind of was like, interesting because, obviously as we use it in class, we use it as our warm-up mock
right.
essentially
That's a
because we
warm-up
know
one.
we
Yeah.
know how easy that mock is. We know that in terms of the intensity, but we kind of use it as the learn how to sit down for 6 hours and take an exam because it's just tough to get through the 170. Why do you think the that so many students, knowing that the CFP board does offer multiple mocks, they are releasing their own version of a Q bank. Do you think it's wrong to depend on that mock? Or do you think that CFP board maybe kind of pulls the rug out underneath from everybody? Or like, is this just like for me, it's like such a known fact that you and I know, I don't even think about it. I'm like, no, no, you can't make the decision based on the CFP mock
Right.
because that's way too easy. The second mock or the third mock that's available is typically a better gauge. Do you think it's do you think students should be depending on that? Should they be taking anything away from that?
Yeah, the short answer is like, are you kidding me? Thing is this, why would CFP board give you a free mock exam and saying this is how our test is gonna be, so you could just walk right in to take the CFP exam? Like, what? I mean, the fact that students even think about that, I mean, well, our students, we correct them, whether it's our one-on-one or in our class, we'll tell them, like, this is not how this exam is supposed to be. Don't look at it from this perspective. But the
Yeah.
people who are just kind of DIYers and studying, it's mind-blowing that they think like that. Like, why would the CFP board do that, first off? Like,
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, right? I think one, if you're the CFP board, come on,
yeah,
make it more like the exam, and give people the option to, and I think most people, if you don't do so great on a CFP mock, you're gonna want to come back and buy another mock. So from a CFP board standpoint, I'm going, why wouldn't you kick everybody's butt a little bit so they're buying another mock? I'm going to be more encouraged to buy a second mock if my butt got kicked a little bit, not if I'm like, I got 100% in professional conduct and 80 in general principles, and then I go into the exam and
you
I'm in the
fail.
40-50% range on general principles, and
Yeah,
I was getting 60 on tax, but now I got a 30 on the exam. Like I'm way in the red.
yeah.
So I do think from a CFP board standpoint, it would be nice if it was more like the exam.
I think the way the CFP board is get the way they're presenting the mock exam, the free mock exam is like this. It's like the CFP board is preparing you for a hike. right? Now, it's kind of like hiking the Everest, and I made that analogy before, hiking the Everest. Thing is, you don't practice on the Everest to hike the Everest. You
Mm,
practice to hike to make sure you condition yourself. You do like, difficult hikes and whatnot, but the Everest is still gonna be the Everest, right? The mock exam allows you to see, okay, hey, this is a 6 hour exam. Sit in for this amount of time and understand that you're gonna have to have that stamina to go through it. Hey, this is the length of the questions that you could potentially receive.
right.
This is the wording of the questions that you could potentially receive. Doesn't necessarily mean that these are the exact same questions you're gonna see on the
Right.
exam.
Right. Yeah. So I think I agree with you. I think a lot of people kind of look at that and go, this is an excellent proxy for the exam. And therefore, I'm only using this as my proxy for this. I think that's a little naive,
Yeah.
right? I think you're practicing for Everest on a hill behind your house
Yeah.
doing that. I might actually be, hiking for 6 hours, but it's not the grade, it's not like if I really want to practice for that, I got to go to Mount Rainier
Right.
or one of the higher because it's not only going to replicate the conditions of the incline, but it's also going to be like as you get higher and higher up, the air gets thinner and thinner, and Everest obviously is the pinnacle. But you're absolutely right. I think you have to know that if you go in to the CFP mock, and this is where I'm going to blame you CFP candidates a bit. If you go and take the CFP mock and you're scoring 50% on tax in your Q bank and you score an 80 in tax hasn't come together for you in 24 hours. I
Right.
promise you. That's being naive.
Yeah.
And it feels so damn good to see that score to go, I've been working my butt off. My tax is not improving. This sucks. And then I get a good score and I'm going, fuck yeah. See, my Q bank is harder than the exam. So then when I actually got to the exam, whoa, 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 whoa. It shouldn't be that discrepant.
Right.
There's a difference between having a harder Q bank, and if you're scoring in the 60s and then you score 70, 72, okay,
Sure.
your Q bank was harder, but your Q bank is not going to account for 20 points,
Right. 100%.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Our Q bank, especially the last set of four cumulative exams, everyone in our class was groaning and moaning over the difficulty of the cumulative. What they did on the cumulative and what they did on the CFP second mock was pretty close.
Similar.
They were
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little higher,
Hmm.
a couple points, 5, 6, 7 points higher, but not 20,
Right.
right? So if you're looking at that, you have to understand that CFP is giving you a free mock and it's free for a reason.
Exactly.
They're not giving you their best questions for free.
I mean, those are like old retired questions, if I'm not wrong.
Correct. From like the 90s,
Yeah, like from like a while back, like 20 plus years ago. And the exam has evolved so much since then.
because our industry has evolved so
Our
much
industry,
since.
yeah, yeah. Plus the exam writers have evolved.
Correct.
Like it's like those people who were writing exams 20 years ago, 15 years ago, they're probably not writing the CFP exam questions right now.
Correct, exactly. When you look at it, the exam questions have evolved dramatically because somebody like Ken Zahn, who used to write for the exam and runs a fantastic organization. I think he's now retired, but the organization is still carrying on nicely as well, and they do a lot of great work. But Ken had a very specific cadence to his writing. And you could tell, even on the exam, which one was a Ken Zahn question.
Right.
Right? Like you're like, because I remember taking the Kenzan review course and taking the exam when I took the exam and going, yeah, that looks a lot like
Yeah. Like,
a
this is not a
question.
question.
Yeah, like if you can feel it. So for for those of you who are going in and taking this exam maybe a second or a third time here, the CFP exam is a warm up.
Hmm.
It should be the first mock that you take, and the specific use for it is getting used to sitting your ass down for 6 hours and being focused for 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's hard to be focused for 6 hours.
And then understanding the how the length of a question could be, how the wording of the questions could be. but not like the difficulty. I would say the difficulty on the I would say the difficulty on the actual CFP exam is far more difficult than what this free mock exam is.
Correct. Similar format. And that's what I think where the CFP mock succeeds is it gets you used to sitting down, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, what the wording looks like, what the colors, what the counter, but knowing that the exam questions are going to be more difficult and you might see completely different questions.
100%. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if you're expecting that same type of question, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So Joe, I guess my question for you would be is that when students are, taking the CFP exam, the mock exam, what type of key takeaways or things that they should be understanding when they're taking this practice exam?
I think the only takeaways that you take from it are anything that you're really scoring poorly on and take everything that you're scoring well on with a grain of salt.
Mm, right. So
Like,
like looking at like so for example, if I'm scoring, let's just say I have Dalton and I'm scoring 55 average on insurance, but with the CFP exam I'm scoring 55, then that should paint the picture that I need to be spending more time on insurance.
correct. Yeah. If you're scoring on the CFP mock exam, you're scoring any areas under 60, you got to get your ass back in those areas.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the big takeaway there because if you can't answer some of those easier questions, then the hard questions are going to be really difficult for you.
Yeah. And then also the key thing is that if let's just say you're scoring 55 or 60 in your Dalton material and you score a 90% in investments, what about that?
You take it with a grain of salt. You
Yeah.
got you got lucky. You got a couple really easy questions. And Raman, you saw it. We had people who scored 100% in professional conduct on the
Yeah.
first one, and then on the second one they're at like 78. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's more in line with where you probably are.
Right.
So if you're looking at that and the results are too good to be true, they are.
Yeah, it's just like if you're scoring in your 90% or you're in the 90th percentile if you're scoring, and you should ask yourself, do I really know this stuff that well? And be honest to yourself. But if you say like, holy crap, I know I don't know 90% of this stuff, that means take that score with a grain of salt and continue to study that. You may not have to study it as much as your lower scores, but you still want to make sure you continue to refine that process in that
Correct.
module.
Correct. I would agree with that. So the key takeaway here is use the CFP free mock. Don't go, oh, this exam sucks. It screwed me over. Use it as a method to learn how to sit down. Use it for what it's good for, but understand what it's used for. It has a very good use. But don't look at the results and go, okay, these results are end all be all. They are
Yeah.
not. They're going to give you some points where you need to take away, some things you're going to be doing better on. You're going to take that with a grain of salt, and then you're going to walk away and take a couple of other mocks from other providers or one of those paid CFP ones.
Right.
And that's what you're going to do because that's going to lead to success because otherwise you're kind of setting yourself up there.
Hey, shoot, take our mock exams.
We're actually, Nick and I are actually putting together. I don't know if we'll be ready for the November exam, but we kind of have this idea of a weekend mock experience that we've been tossing around. So
Interesting. Oh, that's fun.
details to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a sneak peek.
but
That's a sneak peek.
sneak peek for everybody listening. But as always, everybody, we hope you enjoyed this episode. With any questions, comments, or concerns, reach out to Raman or myself, and we will see you guys on our next episode. Take it easy.